It seems the well-known German pork knuckles mainly fall into two types. The roasted and relatively faster version with crisp skin in the south, called Schweinshaxe, and a cured then similar version, usually without crisp skin in the north, called Eisbein. Today, I'm going to make the latter. Now, to cure the knuckles, we first need to talk about salt. I use pure sea salt and Prague powder number 1, which I managed to acquire a small quantity. Unlike the European curing salt, this nitrided salt comprises mostly sodium chloride or table salt with 6 to 25% sodium nitrite. Now, nitrite has been controversial over the years. In the realm of meat curing, it's long been considered a natural preservative that inhibits the growth of Clostridium botulinum, a bacterium that when overdosed can cause fatal food poisoning. However, a 2018 independent study conducted by the British Meat Producers Association claimed that the nitrite has no effect on preventing botulinum at a legally permitted level. This study, though, has not been made public since then, and it's worth noting that most professional voices oppose eliminating nitrite altogether. Despite the ongoing controversy, nitrite holds various benefits, such as preventing lipid oxidation, providing the signature pink color, and imparting unique flavor to the pork. It seems that for meat curing, the use of nitrite boils down to a matter of personal choice, unless restricted by law, as is the case in China. As for the regular salts, use pure sodium chloride, like pure sea salt, kosher salt, or Himalayan salt. Avoid anything with iodine or caking agents. In terms of knuckle, you can choose either the front or the rear leg. In some urges to use the rear leg knuckle, but in some cultures like China, the front is favored for its higher ratio of lean meat and lower connective tissue. Now, the amount of salt used depends on the precise weight of the knuckle and water, so each must be weighed. Start by placing the knuckle in a large container and weighing it, then add plenty of filtered water to cover it and weigh it again. Afterward, remove the knuckle and make the brine. This method minimizes salt wastage. So for the pink curing salt, the devised amount is 0.25% by weight of meat, so I should use 3.2 grams. And for sea salt, I use 12% by weight of water, equaling 145 grams. You might wonder if this will make it too salty. The answer is not really, but keep in mind that the longer it stays in the brine, the saltier it will become. Once the salt is fully dissolved, place the knuckle back into the brine, cover it with a lid, and let it cure in the fridge for 2 to 5 days. I usually go for 3 days. The brine will absorb residual blood from the meat, so after curing, you'll notice the brine's color darkening. Drain the brine and rinse the knuckle under the tap water, then set it aside. Now let's talk about seasonings. You'll need 1 teaspoon allspice seeds, half teaspoon juniper berries, 1 teaspoon whole black pepper, 1 teaspoon carrot seeds, 1 teaspoon cumin seeds, and a couple of bay leaves. And, optionally, 2 teaspoons white sugar. Also, a few cloves of garlic roughly chopped, a couple of carrots cut into big chunks, and a couple of white onions roughly sliced. In a 5-liter Dutch oven, bring about 2 liters water to boil. Carefully add a knuckle along with all the spices and seasonings. Cover with a lid and bring it to boil again. Skim off any scum if present, although I've never encountered any after curing. Then turn heat to low and stew the knuckle for 2.5 hours. Or if you have no trouble inserting a knife in it, it's done. Use a skimmer or a slotted spoon to carefully remove the knuckle. The following steps are entirely optional, but if you want to add some color to the skin for a more appealing appearance, place the knuckle on a baking rack with a tray underneath covered with foil. Make a simple sweet mustard with equal parts of Dijon mustard, golden syrup, and vegetable oil. Brush it all over the knuckle. Place in a preheated oven at 230 degrees Celsius to bake for 5 minutes. Then take it out. Brush it once more and return it to the oven to bake for another 5 to 7 minutes. Don't overbake it, it can make the meat tough. Allow it to cool a bit before placing it onto a serving plate. Eisbein is usually cited with potato dumplings, which I didn't have time to make, so I just baked some potatoes, and the classic sauerkraut that I made in my last episode. Now let's take a look at the knuckle. It's super easy to pull apart, but it's so hot, and my plate's kind of small for everything, so I leave the bone in. Because it was cured and baked, the rind is not the melt in your mouth kind of texture. It appears elastic and juicy. It almost tastes a little chewy, but then, before you know it, it's all down into your stomach. The meat is super easy to pull off, and its unique flavor that stunned me at the first bite. But then I love the rind so much that I have to have more. Looks pretty tempting, doesn't it? That said, the knuckle can be crazy, so there's reason to have sauerkraut aside to counter the taste. If you want to know how to make sauerkraut, please go back to my last episode, 2 ways of fermenting cabbage, sauerkraut and brine fermentation. So I shared half the knuckle, and now it's easier to separate meat from bone. I don't know about you, but I think sucking the bone is one of the most satisfying things in the world. And oh, don't forget about the bone marrow. Now see, it's super easy to shred meat. Also, have you noticed the color of it? This beautiful pink is due to a chemical reaction with nitrite myoglobin, which turns pink during cooking. Here's a close look at meat with and without nitrite treatment. Regarding the broth, strain it into a container. Store it in the refrigerator for a few weeks. Use it for cooking. Alright, I do hope you'll try the recipe. And if you want to know how to make the crispy skin version of Schweinshaxe, do let me know. Bye for now. See you soon.